Which of these fragrances are right for you? That's for me to find out. It's currently way too early for me right now. I'm clearly wearing a painted tuxedo because I'm getting ready for work. And I wanted to take advantage of this work day to test out a lot of fragrances on my skin, both for scent, performance, and just overall likability. How do I enjoy each of these fragrances? The theme of this video is going to be Acqua Di Gio type of fragrances. So here I have the two that I personally own, Essenza and Profumo. But in order to make this a real full-fledged test, I wanted to add a few others to the mix. And I did that by asking the help from my sponsor, Scentbox. Scentbox was amazing enough to sponsor this video. And what I requested from them was to hook me up with a few Acqua Di Gio fragrances. Ooh, look at this. It's a nice box. And today, it's gonna be blue atomizers rather than orange last time.
Oh, no, 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 no.
So it turns out they sent me the wrong ones. No!
Oopsie!
But luckily, they have a return policy, so I'm gonna contact them and return these samples. We all make mistakes, right, guys? As long as they're willing to correct this mistake, then all is forgiven. So let's try this again. The cool people at Scentbox are sponsoring this video. The second package I got from Scentbox, and let's see what's inside. And we got Acqua Di Gio and Acqua Di Gio Absolu. Okay, cool, we're good. Honestly, I don't really hold it against them for this little mix-up because as it stands right now, their subscription service doesn't service Canada. So by sending these to me, it was just one person kind of just shipping it out. So one person's error. But the good news is they were able to send me the right ones. So I'm a big fan of these two fragrances, more so Essenza, but Acqua Di Gio Profumo, it's a very, very popular men's fragrance. It performs well. It's manly, it puts hair on your chest. Although there are a few flankers of the original Acqua Di Gio, these are the two that ended up in my collection and stay in my collection. Kind of a day and night sort of pairing. But I also wanted to revisit the original Acqua Di Gio and try Absolu a little bit more because when I did briefly test it a few times, I enjoyed it. It seems playful and sweet and fun. So right now, I'm gonna give you my first impressions on these fragrances on my skin, and then I'm gonna go to work for the entire day, kind of wearing my uniform right now and my painty glasses. There's all kinds of paint on that. And then when I come back at the end of the day, I'll tell you all about my thoughts. First up is Acqua Di Gio. Oh yeah, very classic fragrance. It's funny because it's an iconic, fresh fragrance, but it still has some nice citrus to it that you wouldn't expect. When I think of Acqua Di Gio, I think of semi-douchey shower gel gym bro, but it still has the level of elegance to it that I kind of forgot about. We'll just see if it lasts more than an hour. Next is Acqua Di Gio Essenza, which is still quite fresh, but it's a parfum concentration and has a bit more spice to it. Let's see how that smells. Yeah. It almost smells a little more aquatic. It has like an amped up aquatic accord right off the bat. There's nothing too sharp about it on the opening. I feel it's fairly smooth, which is not what you'd expect when you look at the note breakdown. Next up, we have Acqua Di Gio Absolu. See, I don't mind that. It's very different from the others. It's more sweet. Acqua Di Gio meets Paco Rabanne, and they go on a cute little coffee date together. Not that it smells like coffee. So right off the bat, it's a more youthful approach to Acqua Di Gio. But off the opening, it does seem like a pretty big departure from the original. And finally, Profumo. If you don't know it, now you know. It's very popular. So this is the darkest of the four. It is a little more patchouli dense. It has a slight smoky quality to it, hence the dark bottle. Yeah, it does seem like a different fragrance, for sure. But all four of them have a similar level of wearability, which is interesting. I want to test the performance though, y'all. I want to see how long these fragrances last on my skin throughout a work day. I'm going to put these fragrances to work and then come back, give you my thoughts on how they all smell throughout the day, and ultimately give you my suggestions. Acqua Di Gio, the original, was released in 1996, and it contains the notes of jasmine, rosemary, bitter citruses, marine notes, cedar patchouli, white musk, and rock rose. Essentially, it's aquatic with some citrus and sea salty muskiness. Essenza is the EDP version that was introduced 16 years later, and it added an aromatic basil note as well as some spicy pepper. Profumo came around 2015, and although it kept the bergamot aquatic quality of the original, it's really not about that. It's more so about the smoky incense that was introduced and the more pronounced patchouli note in the dry down. Finally, the less popular Absolu was released in 2018 and took things in yet another direction. The patchouli from Profumo remained, but instead of incense, you get tonka bean and a bit of lavender. These fragrances present an interesting dilemma when it comes to fragrances, but also art in general. And yes, fragrances are art. How do you reinvent yourself without straying too far away from what initially made you successful? How do you open yourself up to new audience members without alienating the ones that were there from the very beginning? Royal fam. Now, there's no coincidence that as we go further along down the Acqua Di Gio flankers and the Acqua Di Gio timeline, we see more and more of this deviation. In this video, I plan to judge the smell of each one individually, but I also want to compare the performance of each one together. Is Profumo as good as everyone says it is? But most importantly, I want to address the elephant in this room. It's over there.
Oh, hell no.
Is the original Acqua Di Gio totally shit now? Let's check into me at work 3 hours after applying these fragrances. Okay, so let's get an update on the smell. Acqua Di Gio, fresh, easy to wear, fun, bit citrus still aquatic, not too strong. It's been 3 hours since I applied these fragrances, and currently, Acqua Di Gio, it's still going, which I'm surprised about, but it is a little bit faint. Like, I can't smell it from here. I can smell it from there, so not really great on the projection side of things. Essenza has a similar feel to it. Not a whole lot of difference I smell. The dry down is quite similar to the original. Not a lot of that spice that I was expecting, but it's stronger. The eau de parfum concentration makes a difference, I can already tell. Absolu, totally different fragrance. Not a whole lot of the original's DNA in the dry down. Quite sweet, quite fun, quite enjoyable. I do like it, but it just smells like an entirely different fragrance. And finally, Profumo. A lot of smoke and some woodiness. Patchouli is quite faint, but easily wearable, especially in this kind of weather. It turns out that I enjoyed all 4 of these fragrances, so if you're looking for some saucy negative slams on Acqua Di Gio Absolu, you won't find it here. Starting with that fragrance, actually, it was a total joy to wear. In fact, I wore it as my scent of the day, and it was great. It's really fun, it's still fresh, and it lasted the whole day on me. Does it really smell like an Acqua Di Gio flanker? Definitely not. Acqua Di Gio Profumo, on the other hand, did what it sets out to do. Takes the original but makes it more mature with the patchouli and more suitable for cooler weather and evenings with that smoky incense-ness. I don't think it is the beast mode freshie that some people advertise it as. Not to call it weak by any means, it was still a skin scent at the 12-hour mark after all. I just find it a bit dark to wear in the summer. If you're yelling at the screen and face rolling the keyboard because you wear agarwood year round, you do you. I'm not talking to you right now. But when I compared it to the other 3 fragrances on my skin, it was clearly the least wearable in the heat. And then there's Essenza. Spoiler alert, y'all. It's my favorite one overall. Feels more grown up. Kind of like Profumo, but without having to blow smoke all over itself. I didn't want that smoke, so that's why I do prefer Essenza over Profumo. It sort of reverts back to more classic citrus aromatic fragrances with its heightened herbal quality and that perfect bit of spiciness to it. It's not quite as zesty up close, but the green aquatic nature keeps you fresher longer. So then, what about good old Acqua Di Gio, the one that started it all? Did it pale in comparison to the others? Not entirely. The longevity did surprise me a bit, as it still was detectable on me after 6 hours and was really faint after about 8. Projection did seem pretty soft after 2 hours and was a full-on skin scent after 3. Watered down. Acqua Di Gio, not a coincidence. What I really enjoyed though was the smell. partially because the exact scent is extremely nostalgic to me, but I was really surprised how much I enjoyed the citrus note in it. A citrus note that is fairly absent in nearly all of the other flankers that I tested. I'm really glad Scentbox reached out to me because I don't think I would have ever given Acqua Di Gio another chance at a sniff otherwise. And that's the beauty of a service like theirs, because you can not only discover new fragrances, but you can revisit old classics. And unlike other subscription-based services, they make a point to engage with their audience. They always want to know which fragrances you guys want to see on their website. I mean, you definitely don't need to request Acqua Di Gio, literally the most popular men's fragrance ever. But if you're indecisive and you want something conveniently provided to you monthly with free exchanges, they're a thing. I believe there is a place for all 4 of these fragrances. If I needed a good gym scent, I'd probably go with the original. If I needed a good work scent, I'd go Essenza. If I needed a serious going out fragrance, I'd probably go Profumo. And if I needed a silly going out fragrance, I'd go Absolu. Now, not too long ago, I had the crazy idea to only wear 1 fragrance for an entire week. Comment below if you want those videos to come back. Not sure I can oblige, but I'll try. I wore Acqua Di Gio Profumo for an entire week and provided my thoughts throughout the entire experience. It's right here, in case you didn't notice. If you want to check it out, go for it. Hooray for clicking on boxes. Woo!